Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Rory and this is RLLWoodworks. I've gotten a few questions on my shop and so I thought I'd give a quick tour of the space. It's not very impressive, but I do have some plans for it over the next year, so it might be fun to look back on this video in the future and see how things have changed. Let's get to it. My shop takes up about 75% of a one-car garage. I share the space with landscaping tools, a fridge, a deep freeze, our daughter's toys, and some random fishing and sporting equipment. My miter saw station is by far and away the heart and soul of the shop. The saw is flanked by two work surfaces, each about 4 feet long. I store a shop vac under the saw which connects to a dust hood. In order to cut longer pieces, I mounted the saw and hood on drawer slides so I could pull it out and clear the right and left cabinets. The hood also has a cutaway on the side so I can bevel the saw when needed. In the future, I'd like to add a front cover to the hood to improve the dust collection and also cover up the shop vac. Under the right-hand work surface, I have a very basic mobile bench that currently stores my planer. I'd like to add drawers and a vise, maybe some dog holes or T-tracks, and build a flip top for the planer. Under the left work surface is my table saw cart, which was built specifically for this space. I'll put a link to that build video if you're interested in learning more about it. Behind the miter saw station, I have a French cleat wall with some easy access to my most used tools. On the left, I have a cabinet with some pegboard for my smaller tools, and on the right is my dust collector. In the future, I'd like to run the main hose to the middle of the ceiling and drop the intake down for a little better ease of use. Above the French cleat wall is a shelf where I store my paint stuff as well as some clamps. On the left and right of the miter saw station, I have two large storage cabinets that currently hold everything from stains, finishes, and shop rags to scrap wood, sandpaper, and hardware. I'm in the process of installing full extension drawers in these and will eventually replace the melamine doors with plywood drawer fronts. On the front of each cabinet, I have a flip-up shelf that supports longer pieces being cut on the miter saw. Nothing shop-related above the cabinets, just some random garage storage. To complete this wall, I have an awkward catch-all corner. I have most of my lawn equipment hanging on some DIY doors, and that covers the door to the backyard. We always had stuff in this corner and never used the door anyway, so I decided to maximize the use of the space. I also have some sheet scraps on my old table saw, which I would love to turn into a disc sander or even a lathe. Next, I'm going to cover the part of my shop that I try hard to hide in my videos. As you can see, it's a mess of garage storage. To maximize the space, I built a simple loft so items could be stored on top of one another. Down below, I have our daughter's outside toys, and above, I have other difficult to store items like my wheelbarrow, power washer, and even an above-ground pool. I plan on adding a simple plywood wall here to help delineate the shop from the rest of the garage and also keep everything on the loft somewhat protected from dust. Apparently, I'm a hoarder of scrap wood and can't throw anything away, so I recently built this relatively large storage solution. It doubles as clamp storage and a work surface for my drill press and my broken bandsaw. I plan to run power and dust collection over to this part of the shop and also mount another light. Above this, I have yet another area to store lumber. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I love trim carpentry, so these are where I keep my longer pieces of molding. As you can see, I need to reinforce these brackets, and maybe that wall I talked about earlier will help. Earlier, I mentioned a flip cart for my planer, and when I get around to that, this is pretty much the only space I have left. On the other side of the flip top, I'd like to add some sort of sanding tool, but I'm not sure what yet. Well, that about wraps up how I use this space as a workshop. I think it'll be fun to look back on this in a year and see what has stayed the same and what has changed. If you've got any ideas or thoughts on any of the spaces that I showed today and how I could use them better, I'd love your feedback, so leave me a comment below. And like I said, I'm going to continue to make updates to the shop, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching.